Hello, everyone. This is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to another edition of the Peacemaker Season 1 review series. And today we are going to be talking about Episode 4, The Choad Less Traveled. And we are joined once again by the Holiday Christopher Mace and Rex DeBoss 11. Guys, great to have you back here. How are you both doing?
Oh, hanging in there. Like I said, COVID's no joke, folks. So, like I said, just try to take care of yourself best possible. I just got over it. So, I'm glad to be back on here doing a show with these fine gentlemen here.
Great to have you back, Holiday, and glad you're feeling better. Rex DeBoss, how you doing over there, bro?
Hey guys, how's it going? Let's talk about Peacemaker episode 4. I am doing pretty well. There are obviously storms here in the UK. So same way with COVID, I'm going to tell everybody in the UK, make sure you're being reasonable and make sure you are staying indoors, because I'm going to be honest with you, trampolines and bouncy castles or whatever they are on people's roofs, fences being blown down, cars being turned over. Personally, myself, I am in my 30s and I don't know if I've seen with my own two eyes weather that is on the level that we've had, the stormy winds and weather in this part of the country. And I live in the Midlands, so it's not even like I live in the north or the south where it's affected worse by the weather. I live in the middle of the country and we are dealing with some horrific weather, so I can only imagine what it's like around the country. But yeah, just wanted to say to everybody, I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody is staying safe.
So today's episode we are going to be talking about is episode 4, The Choad Less Traveled. And this one was actually pretty good, I thought. So we're going to start with you, Holiday. What did you think of episode 4?
The episode was really good. Like I said, it picks back off right after the events of episode 3. And I think they did a really good job. Well done with this. I think there was a lot of discovery. You see a lot of new emotions out of certain characters, as we talk about later in the episode, that I think made them more in-depth characters, not just, you see some that are really serious, you see like an emotional side of them, some that are like have no F's to give pretty much, and they do something trying to help somebody else, but it doesn't work out the way they think it's going to.
No, it's true. Rex the Boss, what did you think of this episode?
So it was pretty good. I mean, this is the episode where you really got to take a look at what his dad was all about.
Yeah.
And, this is where you can kind of see some of the questions and some of the things that I've been pondering, the more psychological part of this program that a lot of people may not have picked up on until maybe episode 3, definitely in this episode here.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed what I was seeing because, like I said, I was curious when I first started watching this as into how much John Cena would allow this character, whether it was him playing him or not, to be depicted on television, and how much that HBO were willing to delve into the real character of the Peacemaker, because we have seen it before. They retcon certain points, not HBO personally, but these companies like Marvel and DC, they like to retcon certain points from the comic books of certain characters so that it doesn't come across as completely distasteful on television or in films. But with this character, it seems that we are just getting everything that the Peacemaker is involved in and everything that his, origin story can tell us.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of you guys. This was a very good episode, very emotional, and we also see in this episode, Vigilante had quite a big part in this. He actually got himself arrested so he could try and take out Peacemaker's father, who played superbly as always by Robert Patrick. I thought he was excellent in this episode. And as you say, that there are certain things that happen in this episode that you ask yourself, would John Cena allow this character to go the places that it goes to? And yeah, this was definitely saw that a lot more in this episode. I thought it was really good.
It definitely makes you think that this whole perception that maybe it was the John Cena that was stopping his character in the WWE from being portrayed a certain way.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the WWE this whole time, because why would, like the Rock, it'd be debatable if the Rock would ever have allowed himself to be portrayed like this, yeah? As this anti-hero, you do as much bad as you do good, and you clearly have some really messed up links to some messed up people. Like, you know, I have to ask the question now, was it John Cena stopping himself from being portrayed as, you know, a slimy heel when he really should have been in the WWE? Or was this more, you can now see with this, that John Cena maybe didn't have any say in that and he was just towing the company line?
Well, I mean, it is a strong possibility, you know, that WWE might have handcuffed John Cena's character to not do certain things. What about you, Holiday? I mean, what did you think in regards to Rex's comments with the Peacemaker character and John Cena's portrayal?
Just a whole new portrayal of John Cena as the actor and playing the character of Peacemaker, because you don't see this side of him on WWE. I mean, maybe you saw a glimpse of it back before he became, you know, the superhero character of everybody loves me and I'm doing everything for the kids, when he was basically the master of thugonomics, you know. And this character he's definitely shown this whole series how he has become such a great actor, and how his portrayal of this character, it's sort of like you see like Robert Downey Jr. portray Iron Man. You can't see anybody portray Iron Man, or Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. And Peacemaker, I can't see anybody else portraying him but John Cena.
This is definitely John Cena's character now. I was thinking that before. Glad that you mentioned that, Holiday. This is 100% John Cena's character. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't even allow him to appear as the Peacemaker, but obviously as John Cena, but in the Peacemaker outfit in the WWE. I would be surprised if they don't have that happen at some point, because John Cena fits this character very, very well, and I mean very, very well. Like I said over the last few reviews, this was cast perfect for John Cena, and the character of the Peacemaker seems to be quite perfect for a person like John Cena. I like the fact that John Cena is already showing the ability, like Batista did, that you can't take your wrestling persona, the Hulk Hogan persona, and worry about how you look to the community. You have to take. Remember, Hogan was still pulling that nonsense when he was a bad guy. He was still worried about how the mainstream audience would see Hulk Hogan, because they might not necessarily know that Hulk Hogan was a bad guy now. Whereas it's like, you're the biggest bad guy in wrestling in 1997. People know you're a bad guy now, Terry. You know what I mean? And this is where I'm looking at it like this. I look at the ranking of actors that have come out of wrestling and gone into Hollywood. Obviously, we know what The Rock is. We know what Batista's become. But John Cena's not too far behind now, in my opinion. I think he just needs to get a few really decent, solid roles. And let's see if John Cena can actually act outside of, you know, just being either the tough guy or the cameo role or the jock or whatever like that. You know, let's see if we can put John Cena in an actual, maybe like a thriller or something like that, and see how this guy is really portrayed. Because I think, and it's mad that I'm saying this now, but I think that John Cena could potentially go on to be as big, if not bigger than The Rock in the end.
I can see that.
The Rock was never that guy in WWE. He was one of the most liked and one of the most popular, but the company was never hung on The Rock's shoulder like it was on Hogan and like it was on John Cena. Like, the company was certainly not, because there was more stars when The Rock was around. So, you know what I mean? I think John Cena could go on to be something incredible when it comes to acting and that. And I think he's still got enough time in his life to do that.
Well, I think in this episode, regarding to what you two have said, I definitely think John Cena has shown much more versatility, much more range. You know, you're seeing more and more layers in his portrayal. You're not just seeing the goofball that we've always seen. You're starting to see a much more darker, much more serious.
He swears a hell of a lot in this series.
He does.
And I know that's quite minor to some people, because let's be fair, we know that John Cena's probably been swearing backstage in WWE for years. But it's just the mental portrayal. You don't imagine a guy like John Cena effing and blinding it. But that's pretty much what he does in this program. The amount of times he tells people F you and, you know, BS, this and that. When you listen and you listen to what he's saying, they know. And I'm sorry, but these producers at HBO, I have to give them credit. If I've not given them credit before, which I think I have to give these guys credit. Whoever's producing this stuff. And I know that James Gunn's in control, which obviously he's done blockbuster films, so that speaks for itself. But whoever's in control of this, it just goes to show that HBO, there is a reason why they have always kind of sat above the rest of the television networks as what HBO is. Does anyone else agree or disagree with me there?
No, I completely agree.
I agree with you on that one.
Remember, we're from the UK, so we don't know that much about HBO.
We know.
But we know enough. We know that they are, well, for me, they are one of the oldest outside of the companies, the television networks that I know that wrestling's been on. HBO is probably the one that I remember, from The Sopranos and stuff like that. I remember it like just that you knew you were getting great programming. Am I right to say The Sopranos was on HBO? It was, wasn't it?
Right.
Yes, it was.
I'm sure The Sopranos was on HBO because that's the one that I remember in my mind. Just when it goes into that static, the TV goes into that static HBO symbol. It symbolizes, this is going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. Also, what was your thoughts, guys, on Adrian Chase getting himself locked up in prison to be with Peacemaker's father? What did you thought of those scenes? I thought they were really good. I wanted to hear what you guys thought.
Well, I think Amanda Waller's daughter set all that up, because that's when you got to remember Peacemaker and Vigilante are still bickering at the beginning over how Peacemaker didn't help Vigilante when he was getting tortured, and that he had some hostility about that. And then he said, "Take me to my house," and he didn't know where his dad was, but he went to the room and got all these helmets and stuff. And, Vigilante and him were still arguing about that and talking about ducks and saying a duck wouldn't fit a costume. What are you talking about? Arguing about stupid stuff. Then he finds out from his neighbor that his dad went to jail after they were arguing about, you're a superhero, right? So who are your villains and stuff? And he goes, I just kill my villains, and arguing back and forth. Well, Batman's got villains. Said, yeah, and Batman lets a clown go to prison, get out, lets him kill everybody instead of doing the right thing, just killing him the first time and just get rid of him. Instead, he lets him go back to prison, kill all these people. And that's something that was interesting that they talked about that a little bit, because that's what a lot of people's philosophy and thoughts are about. A lot of people talk about this, where he says, Batman should just go ahead and kill the Joker because of the fact that, he does all this stuff and he goes to prison, he gets out, kills a bunch of people back and forth, and it's like over and over again.
Yeah, I definitely agree. with that 100%. What about you, Rex? What do you think of those scenes?
I agree with a lot of what Holiday was saying there, but I will say one thing. Remember, the Peacemaker's not going to be savvy to the one bit of information that we all know about Batman and Joker, and it is the whole, who are you without me?
Yeah.
There is no Batman without the Joker. Now, we all know that, yes, there is, because Batman would still have to take on all of the other lunatics and, criminals that are in Gotham City that they've created over the years. But we all know the theory is that he cares more about that. Joker's the one that keeps him wanting more to take out the other people. So as in, he may actually, situations may lead to the death of other characters that are in the DC universe, but he won't kill the Joker because it's almost like it's the connection that they both need. Same way, ask the question of why doesn't the Joker just try to kill Batman? He's not trying to kill him. He's trying to make it so that it's like he, overcomes Batman. And in the Joker's messed up world, it's almost, I will blow you up with a bomb without realizing that will actually kill you. But that's the way that the Joker's insane thinking is, as in almost like I'm making you a better person by killing you. But with Batman, it's more, he doesn't agree with killing, even though we all know that later down the line, they had to obviously address that because Batman lives in a world of a different thing, and Peacemaker may not be savvy to the darker world of the Batman, because he doesn't, at this stage, he's still not really in tune with his darker side. He still thinks what he does is right, whereas Batman's constantly dealing with this, knowing what he's doing is wrong, but he knows he's doing it for the right reasons. And that's a lot of Batman's dilemmas in his thing. But someone like Peacemaker isn't going to be necessarily aware of those factors. He just looks at it from the outside of, if someone comes after me, I'm going to put them down. But he doesn't understand the psychological and emotional link between those two characters. And going to the vigilante thing in this as well, I'll say once again with the psychological thing, I think that this also showed elements that he wants to impress the Peacemaker and have the Peacemaker as his only friend and that kind of vibe, like a weird, real psychological emotionally tied vibe between the Peacemaker and Vigilante. I think Vigilante in his mind doesn't see the consequences of how dangerous it is going into somewhere like a prison cell or in a prison environment. He doesn't understand how dangerous that this white dragon is, maybe because he's not been told the right kind of information. But I just think that you could have told Vigilante, this guy is a lunatic and his mind isn't processing the lunatic part. He's just thinking about what he's prepared to do to make his and Peacemaker's friendship work.
Spot on. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Vigilante, or this version of the Vigilante, shall I say, is he's one of those guys that he's so blind. He, like you said before, like he's so blinded by impressing Peacemaker. Say, oh, look at me, look what I can do. Don't you think that's cool? But as you say, he doesn't realise the danger he's putting himself in with someone like Peacemaker's father, who is the White Dragon, as we all know. And I thought that was portrayed very, very well in this scene, especially where you see Vigilante. He starts a riot in prison. He starts getting into fights with everyone. I thought that was a very good scene too. What did you think of that one, Holiday?
Like I said, I mean, we're forgetting the whole point where, you know, he's mad at he gets mad when he finds out his father was arrested because John set his father up instead of him from the first couple episodes. And so he wants to go see his father, and Mim's not happy about him wanting to go see his father. So he's telling Amanda Waller's daughter to go stop him. And, you know, and she tell him this is a horrible idea. Your file said he's done some fucked up stuff to you. And he goes, what does it say in my file? And then she goes, you did some fucked up stuff. That's what I know. That's what I'm telling you. And he goes there to visit his father, and then she's manipulating Vigilante to, you know, somebody just needs to kill his father, you know, take his father out, you know, just take him out. And that's what leads Vigilante to go take a trash can, break it into the window, get arrested so he can go in there and try to face his father.
One of the good scenes I thought with Cena's portrayal of Peacemaker is he's kept the butterfly creature in the jar, and he's talking about, you know, you remember when he took out Rick Flag at the end of the Suicide Squad movie. What did you guys thought of that scene, Rex?
And I'll say this, and this is actually a lot to do with the way that this character is portrayed. I think that scene with Rick Flag has had some really, really detrimental psychological effect on the Peacemaker character. I think that there's so much in this universe that is going wrong for him, and it started in his mind at that moment there with that, what he did to Rick Flag, just how, you know, because it's really a betrayal of everything that he believes in and all that kind of stuff. And it's strange to look at the way that they have kept that in our minds. They keep going back to the fact that he is haunted basically by what he did to Rick Flag, and he's struggling to even weigh up the reasoning of why he did that. And maybe this is the reason why he wants to keep, like, for instance, like this is, like I said about the Batman and Joker thing, this is maybe what he needs. Maybe he needs this emotional or psychological link to something without killing or affecting it, if you know what I mean, so that he can feel like he's doing right or like he's doing the right thing, rather than with the Rick Flag thing, he did what he thought was right, but it technically made him feel like what he'd done was wrong, because generally we could all see that what he did was wrong.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they always go back to that because, as you say, it plays on his mind a lot, doesn't it?
It's definitely the catalyst to what made him start thinking, you know, holy moly, what have I done here? What have I turned into? What have I become? And you have to also remember the Rick Flag thing is a clear indication, along with what happened with his brother and the way that he's been treated with his dad, that anyone who gets close to him, that he really, you know, anybody who tries to put trust in him or thinks that he really is the person that he portrays that he is, he has to end up stabbing them in the back. Think about it, Rick Flag, out of all of those characters that were in the Suicide Squad film, if you put yourself in Rick Flag's shoes, the one person who he thought that he would be able to rely on regardless would have been Peacemaker. And it was the one person who turned on it. And that's what's haunting Peacemaker.
Definitely agree with that. It's like he's almost selling his his character out, that he's supposed to be a keeper of peace, and he just.
I think he knows that he has sold his character out. I think that he knows that this is the whole thing that he stands for is jargon, because he's made it jargon because he's chased being a Batman and being a Superman for so long, but doing it all for the reasons of, boom, let me shoot a robber. Look, everyone respect me for shooting this robber. And it's like, yeah, but did you actually find out why that guy was robbing? Or did you, because there's a humanity side to these things, isn't there? He's got this shoot first, ask questions later vibe to him. And he doesn't understand. That's why he isn't looked at as the superheroes that the other guys are. And it's all this constant, whereas all the other characters in the Suicide Squad in this universe are bad people, that even if they think they're doing good, they're bad people. He thinks he's doing good and he's a bad guy. And that, you know what I mean? It's almost like the counter opposite of everybody else that is in the Suicide Squad or in this universe. You know what I mean? Like, you won't get a Batman in this universe, but you'll get a Peacemaker, where Peacemaker thinks he's the same good guy as Batman, but we know that he's not.
Absolutely. Spot on there. Also, there was a good twist in this involving Myrn, which we're getting near to the end. I did not expect Myrn to be one of the butterflies. Holiday, what was your thoughts on that shocking twist?
It's one of those things where it's like you wouldn't expect it to be that, because you weren't thinking at that time, yeah, he's got to be a butterfly. I wasn't ever even thinking about those lines there, because like I said, you see the end, you see, during this episode, you also find out that, Amanda Waller tells me, it's like, yeah, I'm the one who told Vigilante go in there and try to kill his father, which he wasn't able to kill his father. And then, you seeing all the endings and everything, you're seeing John Cena dancing, listening to music, thinking about him killing Flag and his brother's death and everything like that, and blowing marijuana smoke into Gau's jar and everything like that. And you're seeing all this stuff. And then it's interesting because of the fact that then when you're seeing everybody and you see him Vigilante they get him out of the prison he's in, get him out. And then he's looking, and Haggard started looking, talking to him. She goes, I messed up. I didn't kill him. She goes, okay. And you see like an emotional side to her for just a second. And you see an emotional side to Vigilante about it. And then you see Peacemaker pass out. Then you see Mims going to eat. And you see, just like the butterflies you saw in the last episode eating, you see him doing the same thing. And you're like, what the heck is going on?
As a perfect segue, you see the bit where they showed you at the end of the episode that Hardcore and Vigilante had this emotional situation.
Yeah.
At that point there, because I knew one of these was going to turn out to be a butterfly, I had this in my mind from the second episode. I thought, someone's got to be a butterfly. It's definitely not Peacemaker.
No.
I don't think it's Amanda Waller's daughter, because it just doesn't make any sense, because especially with her, you can tell that she's lying about a lot of stuff. In the first episode with the when she had the psychological moment where she says she talks too much, etc., and she doesn't know how to stop herself from saying what she's thinking. I knew it wasn't her, but my guess, and I knew it wasn't the tech guy either. I knew it wasn't him.
Oh, John.
But my mind was telling me it was either Myrn, Hardcore, or Vigilante, yeah, because them all showing this cold, calculated vibe. Now I quickly thought Hardcore, no, because she had that where you could see she was actually stressed when Peacemaker tried to pick her up in the bar in that episode. And I thought, yeah, she showed some kind of emotion there, even though it was only anger, but you could see she was worrying about something before that. But I thought, yeah, you know what? So it's either Vigilante or Myrn. And then the moment that I seen Vigilante in that emotional situation, I thought, so Myrn's going to turn out to be either he's involved with them or he is one of them. And lo and behold, at the end of the episode, we got the reveal that he is actually one of them, but not working with them, which was a strange thing. I actually was wrong on that point. I actually would have put money on the fact that he was working with them and or one of them. But it turned out that he actually just was one of them, but he wasn't working with them.
See, I actually thought that too. I actually had that same idea you did. But when I was watching, I thought he seems a bit different from the others. I thought he might not be a butterfly, but he might be, like you said, working with them.
I've mentioned this briefly, I think, in the episode, the first review, or maybe the second one. But he was getting on my nerves because he was just being too Amanda Waller forceful and saying Like, just get it, like, just get it done.
Do the
And
job.
it's like,
Yeah.
no explanation for this. Who are you? Why don't you get it done?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what kept making me think, like, when you're, I'm not being rude, but as bad as Amanda Waller comes across, when you're looking at no disrespect, but a 225, 230 pound woman, 40, 50-year-old woman shouting at you until she shows you that she's got the bomb, you're not scared of her.
No.
You wouldn't be intimidated by her, but you know that she's dangerous. Whereas with him, it's almost like we're supposed to just from the start of this series believe, and until this episode, he was the weakest character out of all of the people in the show. And it was developed as in like, why are you physically and technologically, like you're not helpful to these characters. All the other people seem to have some kind of, ability or they've got a role in this group of people. Even Vigilante, who wasn't part of it, has immediately got a role because he can fight and because he can do certain things. Whereas with Myrn, what is his purpose apart from being the guy who calls the shots?
Yeah, he didn't really. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Over the course of the few episodes, he didn't really bring much to the table other than just barking out orders. So yeah,
until this episode that we got to see this. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well, Holiday. Myrn's character was, if it had gone beyond the next episode and not revealed this, people would have started to actually get quite negative towards Myrn because he was really starting to come across as almost like a wrestling heel authority figure to me. Like, you're just telling everybody else to do these things that you think is for the better of like the best for business, but really it seems like it's just saving your ass from the higher powers like Amanda Waller. Anyone else hear what I'm saying here?
Yeah, that's what it came off as, because he got so angry at Amanda Waller's daughter because of what she told him, Vigilante go in there and kill his father, and got so angry about all of it. But then, and it just became interesting because, like I said, one thing we glossed over is Peacemaker told his father what he also did, they switched his fingerprints, stuff like that. And his father already told him, well, he's going to tell on us once he gets a chance. He's going to tell on us, because he was like going, I'm not a rat, but if when the first chance I get, I'm going to let them know what happened. He goes, well, that's kind of the definition of a rat there. And it's one of those things, yeah. But it is interesting because you're thinking he's starting to be more like Amanda Waller character, and then to find out that he's really a butterfly, then it makes it interesting. Okay, why is he wanting them to go after butterflies when he's a butterfly himself?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Immediately you knew he can't be like, I don't know about anybody else. A lot of people might have taken the Myrn butterfly turn, let's call it, and for, oh my word, he's going to end up like snaking these out. But no, I never thought that, because it was so obvious that, well, that don't make any sense. He's got to be on the opposite side from the butterflies, even if he is a butterfly. As soon as I seen it, I didn't like gasp and think, oh my God, he's a butterfly. He's helping the butterflies work against them. I immediately knew, like I said, well, he can't be working with the butterflies. So that theory is immediately out of the window. He's got to be working against them, because why would he be sending John Cena and all these other characters in unless we're just getting this sadistic vibe of some guy trying to attempt to get, these vigilante fake anti-heroes killed. You know what I mean? Is that what? Because let's be fair, the series was kind of going down in that direction, wasn't it? Like, the Suicide Squad, whole theory of the Suicide Squad kind of is, black ops operators playing with the lives of people who either think that they're superheroes or supervillains that have done something in their past that the government or the people have information on. Like the whole synopsis of this Suicide Squad stories and that is based on this. It's a very threadbare thing when you think about it, because a lot of these villains, yes, they get time off their record, but half of these villains have got 140 years in prison and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so even if they do some of these like tasks and stuff, they'd have to do, let's be fair, what's the ratio here? They're probably getting 2 or 3 or 5 years off their sentence per mission. If they're doing 1 or 2 missions a year, they're still going to end up doing 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So it's a no-win situation for anybody, really, in the Task Force X.
Which is what I think it's supposed to make Amanda Waller look even more evil because she's exploiting people who obviously were the villains that they were, or the heroes that have made mistakes, of course, because they were desperate for some kind of, like I said about Peacemaker, glorification, or in the case of other people, they were desperate to give better lives to their family and stuff like. Do you know what I mean? And I will say this though, the way that Vigilante got locked up in prison, I thought was absolutely stupid. Maybe that's what happens over there, where if you go to the local prison and smash the window of the local prison, they'll put you in that prison 6 hours later. But here in the UK, maybe we've got a weaker judicial system or something. But if you broke the window of your local prison, you would go to your local police station and then you would probably be transported to a different prison because they would probably be able to synopsize. Why would he have been breaking the window of that prison? We can't send him to that prison because possibly somebody's in that prison that he's trying to get, or he's trying to get revenge on, whatever. Like, trust me, there's no way that he would have ended up in that building. No way.
It was funny getting himself locked up in prison to get to a White Dragon, but just the execution of it was just stupid.
Yeah, how did he get where he got? Like, when have you ever seen a police station? Like, police stations are way more open than a prison. Yeah, prisons are more closed off in this country, especially.
Mm.
But when would you ever imagine that you could walk? Even imagine school, Warhawk, 7 or 8 teachers all sitting in like a courtyard outside eating their dinner. It would never happen.
No,
they barely sit in they most of them barely sit in their in the staff room. They go and walk up to the top entrance and go smoke or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
It was very comic booky to see the way that they had Vigilante break into the prison.
It was still funny. You guys have to agree. It was still funny though.
It was funny as hell, but it was so funny that it made it a bit. And this series has got quite a few of these moments. Let me say this: very convenient plot hole moments where it's like, oh, there it is. Look there. Like, I can turn the blind eye on that once or twice, but if you do it too many times, yeah, I will start to say, hold on. You know what I mean? Like, hold on. But yeah, even for me, because I'm going to let you guys wrap this up, because I've been talking more than you guys. But I have to say, just by seeing the way that these episodes were going at episode 4, because I spoke about this on all the other episodes, this just left you salivating at the mouth. Once you've seen Myrn get revealed,
yeah,
I'm so glad that I hadn't seen the series up until I started watching. I think it was episode 4 when I started watching episode 1, because I would have been pulling my hair out and biting my fingernails for like 4 days waiting for the next episode. I'm so glad that I delayed it a little bit so that I got to watch episode 4 and then immediately after got to watch episode 5.
It was a good reveal. Wouldn't you say, Holiday?
I still think it's a good reveal, and like I said, I think it follows up really well when it goes to episode 5 and 6 and everything like that. So I think it was a shocking ending where you see that he's eating just like a butterfly does, but then you're questioning everything. Well, why is he he's a butterfly himself. Why are you trying to kill all these butterflies?
Yeah. I mean, I remember at the end watching that episode, like the last few minutes of that episode, and you see Adebayo, Amanda Waller's daughter, like going into the office to speak to Myrn, and you see him eating like a butterfly. I thought, what the, I was like, what the hell is this? And then he like chases her out, and I thought, oh right, any second now something's going to happen. And then it finishes, and I'm like, no, I wanted to.
That's what I mean. It left you salivating at the mouth. You had the next episode had to be available. Like, for people who like binge watching, if they would have watched this episode live, they would have been going insane because of not being able to watch the next episode. Absolutely. But I have to also ask this question before we wrap this episode up, because we've not mentioned it at all. The one-on-one fight between John Cena and Judo Master.
Oh, that was brilliant.
That was actually really interesting because, like I said, we even brought up Judo, how they had to bring him back to where they had him at, and he had him bandaged up and had him in handcuff stuff, and he was able to get himself out of there, escape, and then he beat the crap out of John, and then he had to use his inhaler because he was short of breath, and then they had the rematch, and they were doing it was a really good fight. They were doing it, and Peacemaker was wanting to get his shot and have his revenge and try to make up for what happened the last time. And then here's Amanda Waller just shoots him in the chest, and he goes, "What are you doing? I was trying to help you, but it was the rematch of the century. Why'd you do that?"
He could have given us the information we needed.
I also think there's an element here of potentially, because let's be fair, and we know fast forwarding down the line, Judo Master is still got a role, obviously, in this universe.
Yes.
So I think this was whether they were fighting or not. Remember, a lot of these people start off by fighting each other first. This has always been the sort of comic book way, hasn't it? Yeah. And I think this was a look into, especially with the intro that you see where he's sitting on John Cena's shoulder. This is a look into the future where they might actually become closer.
Yeah, that's always been the comic book way.
There are multiple things that I can't mention now because they happen in later episodes, and I probably won't mention them then because I won't think of them then. But there are multiple hints that John Cena and maybe Judo Master have got similar thinking, like Peacemaker's character and Judo Master's character like their minds have got similar thinking without seeing that in the actual program. Like all we see is them being on the opposite side. But I think that maybe in season 2, if there is a season, well, there is going to be a season 2. So I think get ready for season 2 where you get a potential jealousy situation between Vigilante and Judo Master because John Cena might have taken Judo Master under his wing. That's all I'm saying. That I've not seen any evidence of that. I've not heard anyone else speak about that, but that's what that makes me think. I think that there's going to be something in the future for those two characters.
Definitely, I agree. So that's going to be it from us. We are going to wrap this up now. What did you all think of episode 4? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts on the way Vigilante got himself arrested to go into prison with Peacemaker's father? Do you think it was stupid or do you think it was smart? And also, what was your thoughts on the shocking reveal at the end where Adebayo learned the identity of Myrn, that he was secretly a butterfly himself? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and we will see all of you next time for another edition of the Peacemaker Season 1 review series, where we are going to be talking about episode 5. So make sure you don't miss that. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, thanks for listening. And Holiday, Rex the Boss, great having you guys here as always.
10 out of 10. Make sure you check this episode out, guys. And subscribe to the channel. Keep supporting. Shout out to the Holiday for being here. Shout out to Warhawk.
Definitely a 10 out of 10 episode today.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10.
And let us know also. Let us know if there's anything that we have missed, because obviously we don't do in-depth reviews from minute 1 till the last minute. It's more we just pick things out of the show that we want to talk about. If we've missed anything, guys, feel free to let us know, and we'll either talk about that in a later review or we'll just talk about that to you in the comment section below.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.